Hello? Is that better? Hello? Can you hear me now? There we go. No video. Oh, I'm in the settings window then. You can have one all stream, you can have video or audio. Hopefully it's both working now. Hey, it's been a few weeks. Obviously the computer's been off. There's no reason for any of the things to be working any differently, but apparently they are. Which is strange because I recorded something earlier today and the sound was working alright. So yes, hi everybody. Thanks for joining me. Assuming that it's all working now. Tonight we're going to be playing the Legacy of You, a special kind of non-campaign mode. So there's a special few cards in this pack that just make the game, rather than a campaign and a storybook, a story deck that is involved in the main game itself, we can just play a separate standalone game, and you can see everything that's involved. It's just that we won't be chaining things, and there won't be any legacy elements. The Legacy of You is a completely resettable game as well. There's no like stickering or permanent stuff. The story deck can be completely reset back to the beginning, but we're not going to be seeing that tonight anyway. I'm sure at some point, given how many games we are into the Hadrian's Wall campaign at the moment, I'm sure there's plenty of room for a Legacy of You campaign. But hey, that's for the future. Right now, we're just doing a game. Everything coming through okay? Brilliant. Thanks everyone for joining me. I'm sorry that I'm missing everything that you're saying. But yeah, I broke the microphone somehow. Hey Carl, hey James. Hey Gemway. Yes, the namesake of the game. Hey Shiffy, how's it going? Hi Matt. Switch between me and Paul. Oh yeah, Paul's playing Endless Winter again, isn't he? Very jealous. It looks great. Hey Shem. Shem Phillips in the chat, everyone. So this is on Kickstarter right now. It launched earlier today, so you can have a look on the campaign page. It should be already in the description, and you can see all of the final stuff there. Usually I'm out here saying, this is a prototype and stuff. There are extra promos and stuff that you can get over on the Kickstarter, but yeah, as with the other Garphill games, I think this is pretty much, well, Shem can confirm, this is pretty much what a production copy would be like, right? Up to, you can even have a look. This isn't, you're not going to see any spoilers. You're not really going to see any spoilers anyway, unless I tell you what they are, but you can see the lovely insert included in the game. It tells you, where all of your bits and bobs go, where everything belongs. And you can see bits from my ongoing campaign that I've just set aside so that we can, because the non-campaign pack is basically, some of these cards will shift and change as you are playing through. The non-spoilerific pack it's just here. Use these canal cards, use these hook cards rather than ones that might change things along. Yeah, like, without actually showing you kind of the storybook entries, I'm not like actually spoiling stuff. It's just that you might encounter some cards that have a storybook entry on them, and that storybook entry will have a bit of story and have some ongoing effects on your particular campaign. And yeah, it says in the rulebook, like there's only a certain percentage throughout the whole campaign. There's only a certain percentage of the game that you will end up seeing. So you'll need multiple playthroughs, and it's it's not so much that you're making binary choices. The state of the game that you're in and your desire to win each of the games will influence the campaign. It's a bit more fluid than that. But yeah, enough of me waffling on. I'll get on with it, eh? So we start the game. We start every round actually with a harvest. I've kind of done that already. The board down here, if all of my buttons are going to work. They're not working, are they? Come on. Here we go. We'll give it another go. There it is. You can see down here we've got a reminder of how all of the harvest bits work. So we can ignore these because I haven't built any farms, I haven't built any outposts. These are the costs for building those things. And as we build them, we'll unlock extra things that we can have in the harvests. But for now, it's just the standard stuff. We get 4 of our townsfolk cards. We get a white worker. They're not wild cards. It's if it needs a particular color of worker, it needs that color of worker. I get a provisions and get it's cowrie shell, right? I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. Yes, and cowrie shell. You also get an extra shell for every outpost that you've built, which at the start of the game I haven't built any yet, so nothing extra from that. My townsfolk cards, I have a deck here just out of the the random assortments that the game comes with. You draw 10 for your starting deck, and so I've got 4 of those in my hand, which I will play along with my actions. Yeah, there's a little reminder of all of your various symbols and the round structures. So we've had the harvest. I've got all of my stuff for the start of the game. We can then take actions. But what are we actually doing? We are recruiting townsfolk. They are the majority of the cards that you can see at the top here. We are trying to build this canal. We can only build each stage of it. You can only build once per round. We are generally, as we go through our deck, the flood will advance. Time passing will cause this flood to flow ever onwards, and you don't want the flood to ever go off the edge of the board or onto a non-constructed canal. We lose the game if that happens. We are also trying to fend off barbarians. At the start of the game, we're only going to be drawing 1 every round. Say only. If you're not dealing with them, they are quickly going to overwhelm the top row, and they've got negative effects if they are still out at the end of a round. You'll have to be discarding townsfolk, or you'll have to be bribing them with resources or whatever they particularly want. They will build up if you don't take care of them, and if you ever are overwhelmed by the barbarians, you will lose the game that way as well. We win the game by building all of the canals and surviving to the end of the round. It's not just build that last card and we've won. Still got to go through the suffering attacks from barbarian stuff, so we still got to keep that in mind. And yeah, I think that is plenty to keep us going with. So we can do all of the actions to take care of that kind of stuff. We can build things as well. It's your choice of what you want to build. You've only got 1 little building spot at the moment. But as well as our starting few things that we've got from a harvest, if we look in my hand here, these 4 cards that I drew, they are going to give me various things. So I can just spend a card. This townsfolk can do some work for me. Get a resource, just the thing in the brown background area in the corner of the card. So I could use this townsfolk, put them in my exhausted pile. I would get that wood, but they stay in here, and when we do go through the deck that I've got and shuffle it back up, we advance the flood, not so good, but we get the card back. I can get more things if I want to. I can have the wood and the extra worker if I'm willing to put this card in the main discard pile over here. So when we reshuffle the deck, that's a card that I've lost. There are different ways we're going to be losing cards as well. Barbarian attacks, when we build these canal sections, will cause us to lose townsfolk cards as well. And if we ever can't draw townsfolk cards when we need to, we'll lose the game that way as well. So you've got to manage having them. It would be lovely to just spend them to get the most stuff all the time, but if they're not there, you lose. So we've got to manage that. So what do we want to do the most? Oh, there's another thing that we can do. There's a food symbol on there. You only need to really worry about that if a story element has told you what that means. For our purposes at the moment, and if you're playing your first game of the campaign, at least, you don't have to worry about that at all until you're told something concerns it. The other thing that we can do is play the card for this harvest bonus at the bottom here. So we get that bonus at the start of every round for the rest of the game, which is lovely. But again, we are losing the card from our deck. It's going to stay at the bottom of the board. It would get tucked in all nicely here, reminding us of what we're going to get for the harvest. We've lost the card, and we've only got 1 space to do that at the start of the game. We also have a worker placement spot in these huts. It's just a spot that you can go on and get a provision. Now, all of the other ways that you spend your workers, they're not coming back. They have been used up. But if they're on these spaces, the start of the next round, they come back off. So there's a benefit to doing that. You are spending them for this round, but they can keep coming back to you, and they're getting you things as well. You'll unlock more of those spaces with potentially better and better rewards as we build these huts here. And there's also some trading that we can do. So at the start of the game, there's only a couple of things that you can think about. As we get these shells, at any time, we can trade in 3 of them for a clay or 3 of them for a wood. We will unlock different, better, potentially, trade options as we build sections of the canal. And as we build more sections of the canal, we will unlock spaces where we can build more buildings. Construct more buildings. Use different words. So yes, I think that's enough of my waffle. Let's try and make a decision. So I would like to get something with a harvest ability out early, just so we're getting the most use out of it. I know I've said all those things about we would lose them from our deck. So getting an extra worker every round right from the beginning would be lovely. Extra clay and a shell. Shell's great for loads of flexible things, and you need them for building the canal sections too. So it'd be great to have all of that in there. Now, drawing an extra card, I'm a bit wary of, because absolutely fantastic. An extra card is, all of those options again. But it means that you're going through your deck faster, which, we've got 10 cards in that deck. Every time we shuffle it, the flood advances. The early stages of the canal are doable, of course, a lot easier to do. As you can see, as it gets later and later, you need more shells, but more importantly, more of the workers, and they are going to be easier to come by. We'll get more workers per round, but also, as we build these canal sections, more and more barbarians will come out every round, and they need provisions and workers to be gotten rid of. So thinking early on, I'm tempted to go for just getting extra workers every harvest. That might be a nice thing to do. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go for the extra card draws. So recruiting new people, the cost for recruiting is underneath here. So you see it's nothing for this townsfolk. And then as we go along, it gets more and more expensive. You've got options there as well. You can either have the thing they produce, just with the brown background, straight away, and they go in the discard pile, or you get nothing right now, but they go into your exhausted pile. So you will, when you shuffle your deck, you can make it bigger. So you will go more rounds potentially without having to advance the flood marker. And maybe you will just, I don't know what the other part of that sentence was. It ran out. You get it though. I think I got the main rule bit right. So yeah, I would like more workers, of course. It would be great to have people hanging around. We could just, discard this, provision and a shell, discard this for an extra worker. We've got enough to do that first canal section, and we could get moving on that. But yeah, it's all about trying to find the balance between, you don't necessarily want to rush everything along. The first canal card isn't going to increase the number of barbarians. It's every other one, if I'm remembering correctly. So we don't have to panic about doing that first one. It gives us a bit of breathing space, but it gives us a bit of breathing space too to maybe get some resources and build something rather than worrying so much about it. I don't know if we could get a clay right now though. With the cards that I've got, I can get the wood there. That wouldn't be a problem. That's probably something that I want to do. And we just discard and get a wood. I thought I might as well just leave this out here. You can see the organisation, and I can just grab them out. So we can get a wood just from discarding that and just having the stuff that's in the brown section there. I'm tempted to go for that as a harvest bonus and start earning some more workers, because we're going to need those workers for a lot of things. And later on, the outposts, the advantage of building those, you get more shells in the harvest, but also they let you treat workers as different colours, give you more flexibility. So it might be good to have them for that reason. So I'm not going to use you as harvest. I don't think I'm going to use any cards as get rid of them for the extra workers just yet. So let's get ourselves just the one worker. So yeah, if I get the shell, we could do the canal section. We would get a clay, a wood, there's our building materials, but we would have to lose someone from the top of the deck, and that's both of our workers spent. I wouldn't be able to build the thing right now because I wouldn't have enough workers just yet. I could get a blue worker by kind of getting rid of this spot. Now, I don't think we should do it just yet, because then that leaves us, you can hold things over into a future round, so you don't have to spend all your stuff. That gives us the flexibility then to pop someone on there. He'll come back to us next round. We've got a provision now, which means we could, if we don't want these things immediately, it's lovely to have provisions, but if I spent 2 provisions, you're free, you cost 1, you cost 1, that's 3 cards into the discard pile, kind of laying some groundwork for the future, I'm thinking. That could be a good thing to do. And I can get another provision there. So I could choose a different one, but I'll probably just hang on for future rounds. Yeah. Use you for resources, get provision and a shell. I will get my harvest ability, and so yeah, I'm losing a card in doing that, but I think that'll work out okay. And then let's recruit some people. I'm not going to get anything right now. We'll just spend the 2 provisions and we'll get 3, 1, 1 into my exhausted pile. And I think we'll call that a round. Now that there is... Oh, the downside of what I've done though, which I think I'm just going to live with now. The downside of what I've done is that we've then got to suffer attacks. There's this barbarian here I've not done anything about. I couldn't realistically fight the barbarian. I would need 2 black and a red worker and 3 provisions to get rid of that barbarian. But now I've got to suffer their attacks. I've either got to destroy a townsfolk card, so top 1 from my deck is gone into the main discard pile, or I can bribe them with a clay. Unfortunately, didn't get a clay, so maybe that was the argument. You know, you're going to lose a person anyway. Build a bit of the... We could do a take back, couldn't we? Yeah, if I didn't do you, I wouldn't have a provision. It's solo after all. I haven't seen any new things. We've got the shells, haven't we? We've got the workers. If we're losing someone anyway. I really like the idea of having the extra workers, though. No, I've talked myself out of it. Let's build a bit of the canal. So, when you build a bit of the canal, and you can see building the canal a bit earlier than I was going to do it as well. This boat comes off, and you can, or barge, I should say, and you can pop it on this space on the rulebook. Just as a reminder, the only reason that happens is you can only do 1 canal card per round. So that's done then. So then I'll have the clay that I can spend. I was only thinking of building the units, but being able to not lose an extra work, because we're losing 1 by doing the canal, unfortunately. Don't take back on turn 1. It's more like the off-stream games. But we've now built this canal. So the canal cards, as I said, these are specific to this kind of spoiler-free set. But yeah, the canal cards are sorted based on where they can go. This could have been in space 1 or 2. And yeah, they can be one of the things that send you in all sorts of different directions. In fact, all of the cards, I think, have the potential. I don't know about the townsfolk. I think, yeah, there's a lot of potential. I'll be vague about it. There's a lot of potential for storybook things to trigger, but not in what we're playing. Right, so that is gone. We have built a bit of canal, and we can now trade in 2 shells for a provision if we want to. You can do these trades anytime you like and as many times as you like, and it even recommends in the rulebook. Why not use the limitations to your advantage? You know, once you've got all the shells in your possession, that's it. You can't earn any more. But if, as you're about to earn some shells, you turned a few into clay, then you would have shells available to earn. Right, so we'll do that first. Then I will say that's it for the actions. So, stage 3, return the barge if used. Goes on to the next canal card. And then we've got to suffer the attacks. So I can either lose another townsfolk card, or I can pay this clay. Be nice to keep hold of the clay for building purposes. Oh, I'm not talking myself out of it again, am I? No, I'm not. So I've bribed that barbarian. Then we refresh the card row. So your townsfolk go all the way along to the left, so there's no gaps. Move any barbarians along as many spaces as you know you're going to have to draw. So we know one barbarian's coming out. Draw a barbarian card. Draw new townsfolk cards to fill in any more gaps. We've refreshed the card row, so now it's time for the harvest again. So the harvest is 4 cards, 2, 3, 4, and then worker, shell, provision. Haven't built any outposts, but we've got our new bonus, another worker. And have any of our cards got clay on? No, not even if we used them for the big thing. We could have had that card that we didn't use. There was a harvest bonus, wasn't there, for get clay and a shell every time? I didn't do that. I could, if I was willing to pay a provision, I could get a clay by discarding him straight away, never having him come into my deck. If I really want to get something built, which would always be nice. We're only a shell away from doing another canal section. But, as soon as that second one's built, the barbarians are going to start coming through, so I don't think that's a good idea. Right. Let's have a think then. So we can get more wood. We can turn shells into clay, but I'm not going to have enough shells to do that. We could just, get a couple more provisions, get more workers in, ready for whatever happens. We've only got one more card in the deck, so it's getting shuffled and the flood's advancing when we do the harvest, probably. Let's see, the barbarians that come in, we've got to do clay again, and oh dear, black worker. Yeah, building an outpost isn't that much of an option. I could get one, actually, from losing this card. That's a bit extreme. I could get one from just discarding this card and paying the provision, just so we don't have to lose people. Earning the clay. It would be good to just get a farm out. I was thinking of getting the clay for bribing again. But we need to do something to be earning more stuff. We can either get white worker, provision, or any other colour. I think getting that farm built is important. I'm going to spend a provision, discard this card, and get the clay. I'm going to spend worker, clay, wood to build this farm. So in harvest now, we will get that extra worker. I get a provision for building that. Or we could get a shell instead. Would 2 shells help us? I don't think we could turn them into a provision. But no, I think I'll pop it there. We've still got a worker that can come here and get us a provision. And we haven't spent any of these yet. So we've got the red we can get for one of these barbarians soon. And yeah, it's a shame because there's a red, there's a black. We would have to earn more provisions really than we could even get. Oh yeah, I haven't had my provision, thanks mate. Yeah, probably just want to earn another provision. Building up workers for sure. It would be nice to get the clay to be able to build one of these, and you're getting loads of red workers all the time. Well, now they can be treated as loads of other colours as well. And I think we're going to be able to do that. We can get more provisions there too. Now, put in more things under here for extra harvest abilities. That's not going to happen. We haven't got any more space until we build more of these huts. So we don't have to think about that. I don't want to lose any cards at the moment, so I think let's just get some resources then, and then we can think about what we want to do with them. Thanks, Mark. I was just like, I know it's on subscriber only mode. You don't have to be subscribed for very long if you want to say something. It's just easier. Although Steve is in the chat. Hey Steve. I can't remember if I said hey Steve. My mind's everywhere. Right. We're just going to get wood. Especially as things are about to shuffle. I want as many cards in here as possible for next time around. Get a red. And why not? You can go and get as a provision. Because we're not going to have the people to stay off the barbarians. But then what? Then what do you do though? Do you lose one of these, another one of these cards? Because we're not going to have the clay. We're not going to have a shell, are we? To have 3 of these to turn into a clay. We could get another provision. I think we're going to have to spend a provision and get you, and you don't come into the deck, and then we can do a bribe. Not going to have the clay though, am I? Because I did the building. You will just get an extra worker. Yes, thanks everyone. There's ways to support the channel in the description. There's Patreon, there's Ko-fi. You can get shirts and stuff if you'd like to. If you'd like. So we've got all of this stuff. I want to get some more people in the deck. Since we're about to lose one. Do I want to use both of these provisions? I mean, I'm just thinking, do I want to hang on to the provisions? Because you've got to pay them to fight the barbarians next time. I already get one and I can trade some shells for them. I would like to spend them on getting another townsfolk, but I think hanging on is the best thing to do. So that's my actions, I think. We don't need to return the barge. Suffer the attacks. I don't have a clay to trade, so we're going to lose someone again. Ah, you had a clay. Oh dear. Shuffling, eh? And then we can bribe this barbarian. Then we refresh the card row. So you see the other consequence of not dealing with the barbarians. Your card row's filling up with them. So there are fewer options of townsfolk that you can get hold of. Right. Harvest is a bit different now. So we need to draw 4 cards. I haven't got any cards that I can draw. So we shuffle these up. But when we shuffle this, we advance the flood token. And you're allowed to see how many cards you've got. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1 more than we started the game with. That's something. It'd be nice to have 12 and to not lose people. Because then you're advancing somehow. There are benefits, of course, to advancing to fighting the barbarians that we'll see. Soon, I hope. So I haven't got a card, have I, that gets me clay, unfortunately. So we get the 4 cards. We get workers are piling up a bit. Shell, provision, none of those built, another worker, and then one of our choice. Oh yeah, we got rid. Okay, so I haven't got black and red because I gave the black up to bribe. Maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. Okay then, it's done now though. So blue-red is possible. There's a blue. Give up this card entirely. There's another blue. And I've got the red waiting. So I have to choose... Oh, I don't have to do that twice because I haven't had this worker yet. So if we're going to do that... Just I can't see another way of getting black right now. So I think we've got to abandon fighting that barbarian, which is a shame. We get to draw another card and stuff. And I can't really get the clay to fight him effectively. Well, I could get the clay, actually, because we're going to build another section of canal, I think, which is bad because it's advancing barbarians, I think, but it's the only way I can think of getting clay. And this is advancing as well. So we'll choose blue now from this. I will choose just to get the resource, which is blue from there. And then it's going to be pricey, blue, blue, red, and 3 provisions, because of where this is, I can fight this barbarian. So on the one hand, there's not going to be more barbarians building up. I am not going to have to worry about this at the suffer attacks phase, but also I get this. So I get a shell and a worker. A lot of workers raring to go. I just haven't got the stuff to help you out. I could get another wood here. I could get a clay, and then we can say that they're a different color, which doesn't help me right now, but it could help me like from next round. Ooh. So I wouldn't have the bribe again, but we're just going to have to live with that, I think. Let's build a canal section. So worker, worker, shell, shell. You go on the rulebook. And we're losing cards again. Clay, wood, and lose a worker. But then we have worker, 3 wood, and a clay. Let's build an outpost that tells us that the white workers could actually be treated as black and vice versa. I don't produce any more in the harvest, and I'm nowhere near doing that. But, yes, spend all of that. This, do I want a shell now, or do I want another worker? I want to be able to do anything with them right now. I've unlocked a thing. I can discard a card from my hand, into the exhausted. So not actually doing anything else with it. But I can exhaust a card to get 2 shells, which could be good if I don't want what it normally provides. Yeah, let's get the shell. Let's just work along. I might have to, actually. I'm not sure if I can do them out of order. Right, so we've taken care of 1 barbarian. We've got some things. We've built another bit of canal. But now there's 2 barbarians coming out every time. And I cannot take care of another one this round. I can get a blue here. Either of these could be black. Could a red worker then kill a barbarian? What do you mean, Matt? Oh, like I could kill that barbarian with a red and 2 white. Yeah. I think that's what you mean. I'm sure you'll clarify when the delay catches up with me. So I want to get at least another card. Get a red worker with a building. Oh, I see what you mean. Ooh, that is a good thought, isn't it? Let me just double check that I'm allowed to build out of order. I think I am. But I might think I am because it suits me. No, they don't need to be filled from left to right. Oh yeah, the example, they're not either. I get your point. So, I'm pretty sure we can get the provisions as well. So yeah, if I do that to get a red worker, and then you get me a provision and a shell. They both get me wood, but 2 shells get me a provision. And we could get more shells by just discarding one of those if we needed to. 2 provisions, red, and now black, black. That's another barbarian taken care of. Gets me a shell and a card, which I think is still okay, actually, because they were going to make me discard a card if they were still out, and we've still got 5, which is a good position to be in, I think. And bribe him with wood. We can get wood. So I've had the things. You go over there. Yes, Hadrian. Oh, it's already been answered. It is Hadrian's wall size. Right. So unless I want to really change tax or get rid of these cards, I'm getting 3 wood, which isn't a bad thing to do, is it? I might want another provision so that I could get a couple of cards in. Might be something good to do. Definitely want... I don't need a yellow worker right now, and I can just have the card for free. So why would I not want to do that? I don't want to lose any cards. I'll just take the wood, I think. 1, 2, 3. And then the shells are useful, but I can always get 2 more by discarding a card. Like, I could have done that just then. Ooh. Have 1 less wood. Ooh, that's a good idea. Have 1 less wood, just discard the card for 2 more shells and get 2 provisions. I don't need these things right now. Oh. Shouldn't have taken the yellow worker because I took the card. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I was saying that I didn't need the worker right now, didn't I? But yeah, with the extra resource, the extra provisions, get both these cards. I feel like I'm building up cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. However many I counted. Oh boy, with my incessant counting. That feels good. That feels like that's cleared out in a lovely way. Right. Not doing anything else, am I? Get your rulebook back there. Return the barge. Suffer the attacks. I have a wood I can bribe with. And then refresh the card row. You come over here. Hey, Paul. I agree, it is a beautiful game. 2 barbarian attacks coming out, and I believe it is Sam Phillips, right? Yes, art and graphic design by Sam Phillips, game design by Shem Phillips, storybook written by Benedict Hewitson. Just knocked a load of things off there. Whoops. It was worth it to credit everyone. Right, townsfolk go there. Da, da. Right. Yes. Just get me bearings, make sure I'm not forgetting everything. I feel like fewer things are disappearing. I've had a break, right? It should be all rejuvenated. One thing I have forgotten to bring the fan in here is roasted. Right. Harvest. 4 cards. Worker. Shell. Provision. I have built an outpost, so have another shell. Another worker. And colour of my choice. Right, so if we're willing to lose this card, that's blue, blue, black taken care of, and we could maybe do something else with the free worker. Getting worker. We could get black there, but we were trying to do something else. I think provisions is going to be the thing that holds us back. It would be nice to fight 2 every time just so they're not building up. But that's going to require 5 provisions just to fight them. We did it last time. We don't need to build another section of barge. And we lose 2 people by building the next canal section, so I don't want to do that. Just trying to plan out now. We are getting shells from these fights, so they're going to help get the provisions. But if you get a blue with this and don't lose the card, then you've got black, black. Where'd you get the yellow from? Losing this card instead. You're still losing a card. Yeah, I don't think yellow, yellow, blue's happening. And we can get a red worker as a bribe. I didn't do this last time, did I? I don't think I had a worker left over because I was gaining all the cards, which I think is the better, I think was the right thing to do. I'm not sure which I'd rather lose. We'll get the 2 blues. That's black. That's black, that's black. And that's how we get the yellow. Now, that's the only way of getting the yellow, by losing that card. Oh, unless we gain it from here. It's the same difference, isn't it? We're losing one of the cards. There, I'll get the yellow with the bonus. Let's move on. Now let's work out how we're getting these provisions. 2 shells gets me a provision. 2 provisions lose the card for 2 blue. And then a black takes care of this barbarian, which gets us 3 shells. Right. Now work out how you're going to get 3 more of them. Oh, yeah. Well, shells are available. Well, we could get provisions here. There's a provision and a shell. And there's your 3 provisions done. We just wouldn't gain the card, unfortunately. There's the black that we need. Discard you to get provision and a shell. That's 4 shells. So we can discard those for 2 provisions. And that is 3 provisions. Correct workers. We can fight this barbarian, which gets us 2 shells and a clay. Oh, we could do a farm, I think. Might be good to do. Because we've still got... Yeah, I don't think I want to lose a card. So there's a red. There's a white. You can go and get me a provision. Thank you very much. So we could still gain one of these cards. But you... Oh no, red we want as the bribe. Don't we? So don't get the provision. We want to build a farm, don't we? And we want to get extra worker, extra provision every time. Ooh. I want both too much. Worker can get you provision. If they're extra. Okay, you've talked me into it. Yeah, we'll get a worker. Well, in the harvest we'll get workers. That's another farm built. And shell for covering up that space. So I think we will bribe so we don't have to lose anyone. But we will spend 2 shells to get a provision. And let's get one of these cards. What do you reckon? So we could get a card that would get us a provision and a shell, potentially one as a harvest if we ever get one of these huts built. Not doing very well on the clay front. Or, I suppose getting the workers isn't as necessary since we can convert. Provisions and shells might be more useful. We have gone for the worker income there. Oh, time's really getting away from me. Am I rabbiting on that much? Maybe go for the provisions. You might want loads of workers for a barbarian at some point, though. Like to be able to get rid of them like we did at the start of this round. I'm feeling provisions. I'm feeling provisions. Right. Is that all the actions that I want to do? I think so. So we don't need to return the barge. Suffer the attacks. I'll bribe with the worker. And then refresh your card row. You go there. 2 barbarians coming in, unfortunately. And then a couple of new townsfolk. Harvest time. 4 cards. 1 need to shuffle, so the flood advances. 2, 3, 4. And then we've got worker, shell, provision, shell. Another white, and then we can decide something. Oh, and another white down there. And then we decide what we want to get. So I can get... Oh, these colour combinations aren't working for us at all, are they? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just bad because we need to discard 2 to build the canal bit, so we're not getting loads of extra rounds. We've got to fight somebody. We can get yellow there. We can get yellow here, but we haven't got a blue. Haven't got clay to be able to sort things out. Oh dear. We might have to just put up with the attacks and have 5 barbarians here next time. I say put up with them, that's going to lose us loads and loads of cards. We've got a bribe there. We could get a red if we give up a card from here, or spend the provisions up there. Could get us a red worker. Wood, maybe trade with shells. We need to build that bit of canal, don't we? If we build that bit of canal... No, we're not going to have enough wood to do that. What are you talking about? If we build the canal, we'll have some kind of leverage, doing a bit of bribing. I'm going to give it a go. Build gets... So the reward's similar on all of these because it's the spoiler-free version. Lose 2 cards? I don't want to lose 2 cards. And then you go on the rulebook. You are built. Get in there. But the flood is going to be coming right up behind us. And I'm not going to be able to take care of many barbarians this time. So we can get yellow. We could get yellow and clay. I just feel like that's losing too many people. You're thinking of doing one of these. That's more worker placement spots, isn't it? You know, the next one along. Get a colour of your choice. I can do that now. I can turn, you know, white and a provision into a different colour. And building something would get me a provision. You can get me a couple of provisions. Shit, building one of these as well. How was I getting clay? Oh, if I lose that card. But then I haven't got enough shells still, have I? Oh, I could discard a card to get shells. Well, lose that card to get a clay. Discard this. 3 white. Oh, what did I do with them? Oh, we just did the canal with 3 white. Oh yeah. So what did I do with the... Was I waffling about picking a colour and then I never did? That sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah, I was waffling about it. So we can build up and have like yellow. So yeah, discard that for 2 shells, 3 shells. But then you're not going to have the wood and stuff to be able to bribe with. Is this wise? Discard for white and red, and that gives me a different bribe. So you and 3 clay. But you've used all your cards, so you can't get a harvest bonus in here yet. You'll be okay. What about... Oh yeah, I wanted the white and red worker. Well, what if instead of doing that... Well, that gives me an extra card. And extra things there to worry about. Oh dear. The build. Provision. You are built. And I can have a card. Oh, I can have a harvest bonus. Okay, that worked out lovely. Yeah, you don't know what the bonus is till you built it. So yeah, that's actually worked out pretty well, I think. And now we've got another spot where we can get a worker. So we could actually fight a barbarian. Ooh! Yeah, and I was keeping this red to bribe this barbarian. So why don't we just pop him here, get a blue, blue, yellow, yellow, 2 provisions, boom. And now we've got the wood to bribe the... Oh, wow. All planned, of course. Just acting bemused. 2 shells and a wood, please. Boom. Oh, it's all thanks to being reminded about the extra worker, actually. Thanks, Sha. Right. So I probably just want you going under there to get the extra harvest bonus, don't I? I realise this is a lot of cards getting kind of slung about. I can't get another... I could get another bribe and not lose a worker. I was thinking, how many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're not staving off the flood any more rounds by, you know, not losing them from here and not bringing them in instead. Do you know what I mean? Am I getting that across? I feel like I'm flubbing there. I might just recruit all 3 and just not bribe them and lose 1 off the top. Because it's going to be the same number of rounds, I think, before we have to advance the flood. I'm just going to get some more people in there, I think. We can get another provision. That's not quite enough. But we can bribe you with a wood. Can't bribe you, so we're going to have to lose someone. It's a shame. Could do blue workers right now. But go over there. 2 more barbarians coming in. Wish I could have fought more, but we got a lot done there, didn't we? Oh, put the barge back. We built a bit of canal, we built a hut and got an extra harvest bonus and took on a barbarian. That's pretty good going, really. But we've got to try and fight them now, as they're, you know, it's getting to the point where they're going to overwhelm us being able to refill stuff. The board's gradually overwhelmed the top of the screen, isn't it? Right. So that's all refreshed, all done, all done. Harvest. 4 cards. Yellow is helpful. White is helpful, yeah, maybe this one. And we've got a red, haven't we, coming off here? Didn't have a work to get a provision there, sadly. Oh, bye, James. Thanks for joining us. 4 cards. White, shell. Provision, shell. White, white. Brick shell. Clay shell. And colour of my choice. So we can get yellow. We've got black. Without having to lose another card, we could get another yellow, and then that's what that one's taken care of. Getting another red. Other barbarians, I don't know that that's happening. Well, maybe discard you for a blue. You know, remove from the game for a blue, remove from the game from a yellow, there's another blue, we could take another one on. That's potential, but that's a lot of cards lost as I'm saying it, isn't it? Maybe we could get them back. Maybe we'd have enough provisions for it. But in summary, I think I was saying yellow. Yeah, so let's go for discard you for a yellow. So we've got yellow, yellow, black, because I've got the outpost built. Well, let's make, you know, they're equal. And 2 provisions, so we're going to have to discard 2 shells to get a provision. We'll trade 2 shells for a provision. Oh, and remember we can do this if we get enough provisions for it. So yeah, 2 provisions and the right combination of workers. Let's us fight here. And I get a shell and a card. Ooh, there's a yellow. That helps immensely. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Very excited about the game. Already in on the Kickstarter. Nice to hear. You just started your first game of Paladin solo. Brilliant. Love some Paladins. plenty of Paladins playthroughs already on the channel so far. I don't know why I'm stuck. I feel like I just unlocked some big secret and now I've forgotten it. Yeah, yellow. Yellow, blue, blue. 2 provisions. Use your shells. Right? Is that what we were doing? We don't even need to... We don't even need to lose the card as a blue, do we? Oh, I do need a provision if I want that blue. Right, hear me out. What? So yellow, I need that. Get a provision, and then get a blue. I need that. We then need another blue and 2 provisions. We're not going to be using a red, are we, for any purposes? So let's get another blue and a provision. And then 2 shells is a provision. So we've now got 2 provisions. The right combination. Oh dear though, this is drawing cards earlier than I wanted. It's going to shuffle the deck if I kill this barbarian. Oh. I don't think there's anything I can do about that, really. Oh, we can recruit 1 for free, can't we? Yeah, might as well recruit first, because then they're in the deck that gets shuffled. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right. So yes, fight, fight, fight. Shell. And a new card. And we're going to have to shuffle, which advances the flood. It's right back on us. I would like to... We could build... Oh no, we can't. We have got no building spaces. Later on, you can see actually from the next canal section onwards, it gives us more building spots. But also, the next canal bit we build gives us more barbarians to deal with every turn as well. Right then. So I get another card now. Ooh, it kind of helps. Gives me a provision. Could get another card. Right, you go back there. So we've still got workers we could gain. I maybe should have gained... We could get the yellow there and bribe him. We could, of course, if we get a provision, turn this into a yellow. Oh, that's probably the better thing to do. Grab provision and a shell. Use this trade and a provision. You're now yellow, so you can be a bribe. You can be a bribe, so we don't need to lose any cards. Although I would like to hang on to the clay. Can't have everything. I think I might want to discard 1 of these for 2 shells just so we can pick that card up. Which I wish I'd thought of before we shuffled the deck. But I wasn't thinking of that. Right. Get you. Oh, yeah, if we got the wood, we were going to... Oh, we can't build the farm. We haven't got space for it. So do I want to discard... We have already got 2 shells here. Probably will be decent to have the wood for the future. Depending on what we want to build. Outpost, maybe. Yeah, let's just do wood, wood. Swap you for a provision. And just spend that provision straight away to recruit the card. We could get a clay. We could just get the clay and then build something. And then that's an extra provision. Oh, we've got no space for building. Stop suggesting this. It's about the 5th time. Right. Yeah, no barge to return. Suffer the attacks. We're bribing, I believe. And then refresh the card row. So 2 barbarians coming out. Ouch. And then townsfolk. And that's it. Harvest. So we get... You come back. 3 white. And then shell, provision, shell. Clay shell. 4 cards. And Worker of my choice. Okay, who's that going to be? Well, we've got a second red from the card. So we can take care of one of those. Black we can always get. Or I'd like to build one of these, but then we've got to do a canal. We're probably going to build a bit of the canal, to be honest. What have we got here? 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the flood would advance and we'd lose if we don't build the canal this round. So maybe do that first. Go on then. Before you forget. Or are we going to need those shells for provision? We can get provisions. Right, 3 workers, 2 shells. That's another bit of canal built. Clay, wood. Lose 2 workers. We're at shuffling stage again. We've got 1 card here. So we want to do some fancy recruiting, I think. But that, oh, yeah, gain the red, gain the red. No, we could get the red from there. Gain the yellow is what we wanted to do in the harvest. Yeah, discard you for the red. And then we've got red, red, yellow. 1 provision. Discard you for your 2 provisions. There's my second one. So we can fight this barbarian, which gives me 3 shells. Demolition man. And now what? We've got the building spots again. The building spots can get us people. A red in particular. We couldn't get a second red. We can get a second red. Don't doubt yourself. You can get a second red. Right. I mean, you could just build an outpost. And then the other white is red. But the other white was going to be black, I think. Okay. We can get workers right here. Is it outpost time? Is it outpost time? Outpost time. Can trade shells for clay and build a green. Yeah, we could build another green and unlock another placement spot and more harvest stuff. But I feel like being able to exchange for red is going to help. There isn't that much red on those cards. But it's for the future, isn't it? For future generations. How are you doing the rest of it, though? Don't worry about that yet. Build the thing. This is how board games work. Just do a thing, and then everything else works out. Right. So red for building it there. And now you can be red. This can get me black, red, red, black. 2 provisions. There's 1. There's a second one. Yeah? What's wrong? What am I stuck on? I feel like I've forgotten something again. So I can fight you, get a shell, and a worker. So we can go on these spots. And that's 2 barbarians taken care of. We can get someone a blue, for example. Get fighting you later. Next time. Yeah, get a white. Go on the provision. Trade you in for a provision. And then you're free. You each cost a provision because we're about to shuffle. I would always like things, but... And you know, spend a provision, get 2 provisions. I don't think we can work it out to get these. Oh yeah, we're not going to have... Ooh, we're not going to have bribables though. Are you sure you don't want to use them for anything? I don't think they can really help me. Could maybe have used one of these. It would only got me provision though. The provision's not going to get you shells. Well, unfortunately, I don't think either of those are getting bribed. Maybe should have gone for the other building type. It'd be alright, wouldn't it? I can't discard one of those cards. Stick with it, stick with it. You're just going to lose people. Right. So yeah, getting attacked. Can't bribe either of them because of the state I've left myself in. 4 shells get you a worker now as well. It doesn't help right now. Yeah, I have to lose a card and then shuffle. Flood comes up. How many cards are here? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12! No good, of course, because I've got to discard one. Unfortunately, 1, 2, 3 barbarians are coming in. And this is where panic starts setting in. And shuffle the townsfolk from the main deck. We're going to have to shuffle the barbarians next time as well. It's just 2 more bits of canal and survive. That's all we need to do. Usually, the winning round or the last couple of rounds before the end, they're not always winning rounds. Yeah, it involves a lot of panicked getting rid of the cards for the extra resources, because it doesn't matter as much as long as you've got enough to, withstand the attacks. So 2 townsfolk coming out here, and then it's go time, isn't it? So 4 cards. Loads of workers. We've got to be able to get something done with all of this. So we're still getting 3 more white, which count as red or black if I want them to. And 4 shells, which could be an extra worker. A clay and a provision. And worker of my choice. So there's no... Oh, there is another way of getting a blue. Yellow's probably not happening. Black and blue... It's possible. I don't know, we might have to do the blue from there. Yeah, grab a blue. And then straight off, let's do blue, blue, red, 1 provision. The advantage of having so many barbarians. Although, not many advantages. 2 shells and a wood. And, oh yeah, where's that barge? Thank you. We fought a barbarian. So now we're not going to lose from barbarians overwhelming. It's when it rolls over, isn't it? Not just when it's... If there's just 7. Doesn't need to roll over. So at the moment, still losing the game if we don't fight another barbarian. Because, yeah, it would be nice to just be like, well, we can do red and black. Boom, there's the canal. But we've got to think about these as well. First. There are ways, and from the shells, there's ways of getting more workers to do the barge as well. Because we do want to move it on. The next one isn't going to make more barbarians come out. That's already happened. So who can we fight? We can get a blue there with provisions. And black is easy. So we're going to need 3 provisions. Well, there's a provision and a shell. 1 provision gets me a blue worker. Do I need to do that? Just pop someone there. There's your blue. Blue, black, black. 1 provision. 2 shells is another provision. Boom. Shell. And your worker back. We might still do that. I don't think we will, actually, because we'd need... Yeah, I can get a yellow there. White can be treated as red. Now, thinking of bribes, we've got 2 shells. We've got a clay. We've got a wood. Building the canal gets rid of 3 people. We've still got enough for next round, but that's it. I think we've got enough shells to be able to hire both of those. Yeah, keep the cards and get more workers. So now, thanks to the outposts, we can just spend 4 white doing this. Is that what we want to do? I think so. 3 shells. And then we build the canal. We get a wood, so the reward's a bit less, and we've got to lose 3 beautiful townsfolk. So we've only got 4 in that draw deck. There's only 3 in the discard pile right now. There's going to be another one. And we're going to get a provision with those 2 shells and hire these 2, so they're in the deck at least, because we've got to lose another 3. More attacks are going to be coming in, because I'm not going to be attacking anyone now, am I? Black, and you can go straight out and get me a provision. Maybe I should have hung on to those shells. It'll be okay. We earn more shells than provisions. Right, that's all we can do, I think. We can give up wood, clay, 2 shells to avoid losing any more people. And then, oh dear. There's the townsfolk. Barge needs to come back. It's doable though, isn't it? It's not like completely hopeless. It's worrying, I'll say that. But it's not impossible. Right. That's a lot of barbarians. But we can get a lot of things. Okay, so get your cards. I think that's all of these, isn't it? 2, 3, 4. Probably just want to use them for their full abilities, if that will help. Worker, shell, provision, 2 shells. Worker, clay shell, worker, and someone of my choice. So we need to think about whom I'm not going to be able to bribe. 3 people wanting wood for a start. Well, actually, if we build the last canal section, there's a wood. Can we do it this round? Yeah, believe in me. Thank you. Yeah, I need your belief, everyone. If we can build the canal and kill 3 barbarians. Oh yeah, because we've got to stop the barbarians overwhelming as well, haven't we? So we've got to kill 3 of them. Not just about the bribing. Because refresh card row is part of the... It's part of the round, and you've got to survive the round. Right. Yellow is going to be difficult. Yellow is going to be very difficult. So is blue. This is going to be very difficult. Right. Oh yeah, we've got these as well. Unfortunately, black isn't needed, but black's red. I mean, yeah, if we could get another outpost built, but that's a lot of wood we probably want to be using bribing these guys. We can get yellow and blue there, but then we need them there. Oh dear. Right. So think of the combos that can get us the most. We're going to need yellow. We can get a yellow there. We're still in the harvest bit. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Get a yellow though. You said it yourself. Yellow's hardest. It's just fighting this barbarian gets me an extra worker and then we can do something with that. We can actually, 2 provisions, 2 shells. This is grab this card into your hand. You don't know what it is, but it's going into your hand. Get a yellow. Come on. Show must go on. Get a yellow. Discard you. There's another yellow. Yellow, yellow. There's no other way of getting a blue. But if you're spending a person to go and get that blue, there's no point, is there? You haven't gained a person, or you get that person back next time. But is there going to be a next time? It's rambling. Yellow, yellow, red. 1 provision. Boom. 3 shells. 1, 2, 3. Got 4 workers. Can't get any more townsfolk. Well, we could if we did that. And they go into a hand. It could be the thing we need. It's just that's a lot of stuff. Right. We don't need black this time, but black could be something else. And black might be needed next time. But white is the same as black. Go over here. Get me a blue. There's red, red, blue. 1 provision. 2 shells is a second provision. There's another barbarian. Shell, shell, clay. So now, remember, shells can get you people. Two provisions. Am I going to be able to fight? I've got to fight another barbarian. There's not like, are you gonna? We gotta burn the townsfolk, and yeah, gonna have to burn the townsfolk in my hand as well, just to get people. I think like that. I don't think having the extra, although the extra resource might be the thing that we end up needing. Yeah, we might. It might be worth just discarding them for shells as well, just because the shells could get us the people. I've got to attack another barbarian. Have to. So not going to be able to do the canal this turn out. But then you've got to fight all those people next time. Ah! The extra provision might do it. Because we could go 2 provisions, 2 shells and get that card. But what are the chances of that card being... The card could be 2 people. Yeah, the outpost, just because we need so much blue and so much yellow. Right. So they need a lot of wood, and we can't get a lot of wood. We can use shells to get wood. That would be most of the shells. We can get more shells by just discarding people. And then we can gain 2 more people there and fight, and then we get a person back. And we get a person by putting an outpost out. That's what he's saying. We're not going to have wood to bribe these people, though, then. We've got loads of clay, but that's kind of... That's future round stuff as well. Could get a work from the back of the card. Yeah, I think the hut's better just because we've got this stuff already, and we could get more of the other things. Let's go for the hut. Ooh. We might just have to turn people different colours. We'll go for blue, and then we just have to spend the things turning people yellow to try and get someone else. Yeah, build the hut. And see what we've got. Just put them in completely the wrong bit. It is a worker as well. So, yellow. And then we could get a new person, or we just spend a provision to turn them... Yeah, I can do this, right? They're white for all intents and purposes. Yeah, I might not. Every playthrough, it's a miracle I've got any hair left. And that could be blue, and then we get the worker back. But we don't need to do that. I just don't need a red worker to do it. It doesn't matter in particular. Yeah, that's cheaper, isn't it? Spending a provision is cheaper than whatever the alternative I was proposing was, which I can't quite remember. So yeah, we're turning you into yellow, and then yellow, yellow, blue. Provision. That is the barbarian problem taken care of for this round. Get a shell, get a worker. In terms of bribes, we might have enough shells to do it. Oh, we do need a red for you. Right. We could gain a wood there. It's just I can only get worker. 1, 2, 3, 4 shells is a worker. 3 shells builds the canal. That loses us 3 people. The barbarian attacks loses 3 people. That's okay, isn't it? It's if I need to draw a card and I can't, isn't it? If I need to destroy one but I can't. I think we can do it. So there's 1 worker, 2, 3 workers. 4 shells gets me the 4th one. They're not the right colour though. That's okay. No, it's not. It is okay. Because provision changes 2 of their colours. If you build... 4 canals get added. And then we'll lose. Okay, so we can't build the canal. We can't do that this round. But yeah, we can surely... Yeah, we can surely take another one down and get stuff to bribe. Right, so who's that? So I shouldn't lose any more cards, should I? Just in case. I don't need another brick immediately, I don't think. Let's get you there. You're red, but you could also be a different colour. I'm just thinking, if he's going to shuffle anyway, I now do want people in it. Maybe I regret getting rid of so many. It'll be okay. So we could get a provision and stuff, like... Should we take down the left barbarian and build the last farm? Oh, because of the shells. Ooh! And then we would get another worker for next time. Right. So they're all the wrong colour, though. So do I want to build the farm first? Oh. No, because you need the wood from her. Right. So to change the colour, you need provision for each of them. And then we need 2 provisions to go and fight. I mean, it would give us the wood as bribes even if we didn't build the farm. Building the farm's going to be helpful though. Build the farm. Yeah. So there's our provisions to change their colours to yellow, yellow, blue. Oh, so close. And then 2 provisions to go and fight, which gets us back 2 shells and a wood. What? Where was I going to get the person from? Oh, we haven't got a person. Yeah, with 2... I can just get a provision with 2 shells. Should maybe have... But I needed these cards to get the people in the first place. Yeah, the outpost might have been the thing. I'd put the top card under the hut for the yellow. That's in my discard pile, unfortunately. If I'd still had that, that got me the worker that took out that barbarian. We'll have fewer barbarians next time, though. Ooh, yeah, missing something here. I'm just going to have to lose one card, aren't I? Yeah, that's all we can do this round, I think. We're just a person short, unfortunately, I think, from being able to get the farm. But we can do it next time, and then we'll get a worker that we potentially need, and it'll all be brilliant. Right. So, suffer attacks. I'll bribe you with a wood. I cannot bribe you. Flood advances. The flood can advance another time, can't it? As long as we've built that canal card. And then lose a townsfolk card. Then make space for 3. Ooh, black and red. Much, much easier, although I feel like we've whittled down any kind of stockpile that we had. But it's the end, potentially. If I can do it. 4 cards. Worker. Shell. Provision. 2 more shells. Worker. Clay in a shell. Worker of your choice. Which needs to be blue, surely. Yeah. It's everything else that's out here. Because I can get 2 blue here. We've only got 3 cards. We can potentially recruit 2 more. Only got 3 cards in the deck. Need to lose 3 to build the canal. Need to fight 3 barbarians. Well, well. We want 2 blue, right? What's going to get us the most? As long as... Oh, but the flood advances when you shuffle. I'm just thinking, like, it might not be so bad drawing extra cards. Because the deck can shuffle 1 more time, can't it? Provided we've built this, which we're gonna. Don't need to do it immediately, because it's bad for us. But if we're building a thing, the building reward is getting the card off the top of the deck into your hand. Should I just fight that one? Just as long as we don't draw too many before... Because, like, if we would have to shuffle the deck from destroying these 3, the card's already built, right? So the flood's okay to go on there. Prioritize barbarians that give back white. Good point. We have got to find, like... Yeah, for fighting 3 of those, 9, 13 workers you've got to come up with. I mean, I've got a fair few. But yeah. Blue, red. 2 provisions. 1, oh, I'm a bit provision short, aren't I? And then shells. Luckily, we got some shells. Gets me a shell and a worker. Red, black. 3 provisions, though. I mean, there's a provision from going down there, but that's a worker gone. We can always discard the cards for provisions, and then the cards are not discarded, aren't they? Just that one would only be 1 provision as well. We're saying goodbye to these cards, aren't we? I mean, that's a white and a yellow right there. And it gets me a shell. White, yellow. But then you need a blue. You need a blue to fight that one. But now we're getting more workers, so we can afford to go and get a provision. 1 provision, 2, 3 provisions. We can get the shells. It'll be okay. Red, red, black. Fight you. Get me a shell and a worker. So we've got to fight 1 more barbarian. And have 4 workers and 3 shells to fight this. Hey Willem, how's it going? Just the most doable fight is right there. Black, black, red. Perfect for me. Well, I can get black right there. And then there's the red. It's just that it costs 3 provisions to do it. And I've only got enough shells for 1. We can discard cards to get those shells, but it only gives me a shell back. Just going for a cheaper fight. It depends what the card you drew would be. I can draw the card, can't I? Because so long as we don't go off the deep end before we've built that card, and I don't spend the cards outright, or like I restock them somehow. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's just the perfect thing, isn't it? It's just you lose these 3 cards and then that's that. Play this for a worker and draw a card. Rare. Oh, yeah, the worker itself doesn't help. I was hoping it'd be a shell. We can get anyone we need here. And then that's just 1 provision. And it's another card. But you've got to come up with 2 more shells, which we could do by discarding a card. Is that okay then? Discard you for 2 shells. Discard you for 2 workers. Got to turn these into a provision to be able to fight them. And we've got blue, yellow, but we need another blue. So you've got to spend a provision. But it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. I thought I had it then, but we're a provision short because we've got to change a colour. And then we've got to change these colours, so you'd have to have it going for another round. And I don't think I can just keep kind of circling the people that I've got. Well, there's the yellow for this at the end. It's just there aren't going to be the provisions for a blue. Because what I was going to do, whatever card I draw, I was just going to discard it for the 2 shells I would need. Hey, Sam the Man. Hey, Bonnie Crew. I've only got clay, unfortunately, and not wood. I couldn't do both bits of that, unfortunately. Build the canal. Clay. You can spend clay and wood as shells. Oh, because the canal's ability. Oh, wow. It's almost like you designed the game show. Build the canal. Oh yeah, don't turn those shells into a provision. Just thinking I didn't have enough shells then, but I just turned them into a provision, didn't I? Because I've got just the right colours. And one too many shells. So pop them in there, build the canal. But then we have to fight. What happens is, do you just get nothing if you would draw a townsfolk and you haven't got them? You don't lose then, do you? It's only if you need to destroy a townsfolk and you haven't got any. Because I ain't got any. There's destroy 3 townsfolk and advance the flood 1 more space. And I've got a wood. So lose if you have to draw and you can't. I think I've lost then. You can build. I think this is my only option, right? We build this farm on here. This card's not going to have, like, some miracle, though, is it? Because, yeah, we can dismiss them for free and get a yellow. But, yeah, building that on there will give me this top card. Any other offers? Because if that's a double blue, you would still need to draw a card and you can't. Or if you dismissed them earlier and not gained the worker, there would be someone to draw, and then you wouldn't lose. I don't think that works. Hey, Mark. It's such a good puzzle. So if we get an extra person, they could just get as a shell. They could just get as a worker that we need if we've got an extra person floating around. Which I have just sent someone to build this, and I'm now wondering if that was a good idea. Have your stuff back. Yeah, it's the drawing a card and it's the if you draw a card you lose bit that I think has got me stuck. Yeah. I don't think there was a way to fight her though before doing the canal. Was there? Have I seen anything new? Like, I don't know where the 3 cards... Oh, here are the cards I discarded. I put them in the wrong place. Yeah, because I used you. So you were my draw pile. Let's try to see. Could I have done it can I do it the other way around? Is that going to work? I had the exact colours, didn't I? Because that's what I was so excited about. And I wouldn't have this wood. And you would still be there. If you do it this way around, though, I think it needs so many different colours that it's not possible. Like, you discard you to get yellow. You could go over and get a blue. 1 provision can turn a white into a blue. And then 1 provision lets us... I think we're going to be a shell short then, though. Because I can discard a card for 2 shells. Yeah, I think I'm just minutely... We can get a shell, we can get a shell! So, you, provision, fight. Because doing the fight first means we've still got a card to draw before we lose 3 cards. So I can't do anything that loses this card. But... Oh, and I get a shell from this. I don't need an extra shell. Shell card. What the card gets me is irrelevant, really, because I'm just going to discard it for 2 shells. And then... we've got the people and the 3 shells. Have I missed something in all of that? We build that. We have to destroy 3 people, which is fine because there's just 1 more person in the discard pile. It's the same 3 cards. And so you are there. Oh, I thought he was a barbarian for a second. I think that's it, isn't it? We could even sell... Oh, no. No, it's okay because we can bribe. We've got the wood and the clay. I was going to say you could recruit him just so you've got a card to get rid of, but he would be in the exhaust and he would need to be shuffled and you would lose from the flood. So I think it's okay. Yeah, go in, return the barge somewhere. Suffer the attacks. Bribe. And refresh the card row. Well, we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and that doesn't make 7 barbarians. So, by some miracle, just swapping around that last thing, it's okay. It's okay because we can bribe the barbarians. It's okay. There we go then. So there is massive corruption. I would say the barbarians are pretty corrupt. They'll take whatever. Well, not whatever you can give them actually. There we go. That is the spoiler-free mode anyway. So, like, as you can see in the campaign page and stuff, there is a storybook. There is a story deck that is full of secrets and extras, things that will influence your future games. There is, if I find the right section of the insert to get the bits from, there are a selection of victory and defeat cards in here. So at the start of your campaign, shuffle them all up. Gold one is always on the bottom. And so it's a like 7-game campaign. So depending on whether you win or lose, something will happen that will alter the course of your games. I don't want to say what any of the bits are, but you'll like them. Like obviously, I've only been back like 4 days. I played a campaign, which, as the rulebook tells me, means that I've only seen 40 to 60% of the hidden content. So yeah, there's tons and tons to be discovered, and yeah, you can just shuffle it all back into the story deck, reset it all, and things will very likely go very differently because, yeah, depending on the order things come out in, the order you decide to do things in. As you can see from the game, you know, it's not just about what you want to get done necessarily. It's what can you manipulate, and there's plenty of things to manipulate and combo, and you know, it doesn't look like you've quite got enough stuff to do. I hope you've seen that about 1,000,000 times just in this one playthrough. That, oh, well, this thing's impossible. Oh, no, if you do this and this, actually, if you do those things, those exact things, the other way around, actually, it's very, very possible. But there we go. That is the spoiler-free Legacy of You. I said, at some point, like, we are... This week we will be like 12 sessions in to an enormous Hadrian's Wall campaign. I am sure Legacy of You will return at some point. What are the other playthroughs that have been done? I know, like, it's great to have like a spoiler-free one in there. Maybe it'll be later on. Maybe it'll be when it's available. Maybe we'll just do one like continuing on as a new campaign. I don't know. Let us know what you want to see, though, really. The Kickstarter page is linked in the description, hopefully already. It should have been, I'm pretty sure. I wrote the description. I'm sure I put it in there. You can click that and see how to get hold of the game. There we go. Thanks, Steve. Steve's linked it in the chat as well. You can head over there, see all of the final stuff, see the promo pack and stuff that you can get. It's part of like the I forget the other word. The Ancient Trilogy. There's another word in there that I'm forgetting. That's got the Raiders of Scythia and Hadrian's Wall. So there's promos for both of those, and there's a promo for Legacy of You as well that you can get from the Kickstarter mode. Head over to the page, you can get other Garphill games and stuff. You can see my many playthroughs for all of those as well. Thank you very much for being here, though, and watching my eternal struggle and hair pulling, but eventual victory. That's what really matters, isn't it? I'm going to be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. England time, BST, and we'll talk about the videos of August, the pre-Essen games that are going to be coming in September, and all of that excitement. There's going to be a Patreon vote. If you want to join in on Patreon, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, there's going to be a vote starting tomorrow, and Hadrian's Wall is going to make its grand return. It paused for August, but it's going to be back, maybe with a double bill, for September, and we are on Fort 12. There's not many forts left. Can we keep the streak going? I don't know. I need your help. Thank you, everyone, for being here, though. Thanks, Shem, for sending over and asking me to do a video in the first place, and for hanging out and basically making the victory happen, really. And thanks, everyone. There's so many awesome games. Yeah, let's check out that Essen preview. There's a fraction of those coming to the channel before Essen, but hey, the ones that are coming, I'm so excited about. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. My face is covered by Marty's icon. Is it? What do you mean? On here? Am I not seeing a bit? Oh, is there like a YouTube watermark in my way? I think depending on where you're watching me, there's like a YouTube watermark in this corner, isn't there? I didn't think about that. I'm usually on this side, but I had the hand of cards on this side. There's so much to think about when you're doing layouts and stuff. Maybe, is that it? Is it like a little watermark of Marty? Oh no, I did not realise that I was covered up by that. I apologise. Although, yeah, for some people that might be a relief, having Marty on there. Hey, the Marty cam finally returns. I think, though, yeah, if you didn't know, we were on holiday for a couple of weeks, and Marty's very glad to be back, but it's not quite cooled down enough to bring him back in here. He's chilling out on the bed pretty permanently at the moment, but hopefully, as I said loads of times, I think as it gets colder, we'll coax him back in here and his little Marty cam setup can return. For now, though, I'll just have him covering my face, so sorry about that. Yes, thank you, everyone. All the things are coming up, all the things have happened, and things are great, aren't they? Sometimes. In some ways. Let's forget about the ones that aren't and carry on with our lives. Thanks, everyone, for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.